For a start, let me tell you how to add the hole at the top. For adding the hole, first we need to create an edge around here and then extrude it down so that it creates a firm base on the face. This is the faces that we want to add edge invert. So there is also a tool called Inset Face that add edge invert, and if I left click on this circle and drag, you can see that an edge around the faces that I selected is gonna create it invert. And it doesn't matter what type of face I selected. If I select a face here and left click and drag, you can see that I have an edge invert to the faces that I select. And let me do it one more time. And if I see the setting, there are a lot of more settings, but for now just know that we only work with the thickness value, and these are some of the settings that sometimes are useful, but for now it's not really necessary, so let it be just the thickness. And the shortcut for inset is inset I. So if I select my face and be on select bars and use the inset, you can see that I can easily insert my faces. And then I can use the extrude to create my hole. And let me go to the -y and wireframe, and I can move my face down to, for example, here. And I think that's enough. Now let's add more edge to make our glass smoother. And for that, let me go to the select box, select this edge. Oh, I'm on face mode, so I'm gonna press 2 to go to the edge mode and select on these edges. And for adding more edge and also smooth our shape, we can use the Bevel tools. And Bevel tools is this one that we talked about a lot. And if I use the Bevel tools and drag, I can add one edge. But if I go to the setting and increase the number of segments, you can see that I can create more edge. Let me do it 3 and increase the number of. It's better to also add bevel on this edge, and if I drag on this one too, you can see that it's gonna create a better shape. And now that these two edges are really close to each other, you can delete one edge that you want. For example, if you select on this whole edge and you want to delete it without removing any faces that connected to it, you can press Ctrl X, or if you right click, you can press the dissolve edge. But make sure to be on edge mode, or press 2. You can then click right and dissolve edges. And now you can do it one more time. I'm gonna bevel, then add one more and also increase the shape. I think the distance between two is alright, but if we look at the image, there is this kind of shape along these two axes, but we don't have this. It's in here, it's vertical. So we first need to add an edge here with the loop cut tools, and if I click, then I can go to the scale mode and scale it a little. And then if you want to even make it smoother, you can add more edge with bevel tools. And you can also with segment add more edge. And we also, let me go to the solid mode, and we also need to add edge here. But since we don't see it, the edge is really up. So first I'm gonna move my edge up, and then use the bevel tools. Actually, let me use the shortcut this time. For bevel, we use the shortcut Ctrl B, so I use Ctrl B, and be careful not to extend the edge of your object. So I use Ctrl B, and also with a scroll use the number of edge that I can have. I think this much is enough. And now I'm gonna Alt and left click on this edge to select around it, and let me go to the select box and use the shortcut bevel. What is the shortcut? Ctrl B. I use the Ctrl B, and you can see that it's gonna save the setting from the previous bevel that I created. So I think this much enough. And now these two edge also need to a little bevel, so I Alt left click and Shift Alt left click on this one, and then use this time I'm gonna use the bevel tools and the number 3, and always use an odd number on the edge of your real object. And what I mean is, in 3D object we always have edge here, edge here, edge here, but on our real object we have only edge on here and here. So in this type of places, get used to only create an odd number of edges. And I think this much is enough. And then I'm going to here, and if I look at my image, this edge is a little more under this one, so I'm gonna Alt and left click on this, use the move tools, move it down a little, and then Alt and Shift Alt left click on both of them and use the bevel tool to create bevel. Okay, and I think that's the basic of how we can create a glass. In the next video I'm gonna talking about modifiers. Modifiers have a lot of features, but one of the most useful feature is that you can add more edge and a smoothness to your object without really adding any more edge. And what I mean is, if I go to the object mode and use one of the shortcuts that I can have, for example, if I use the shortcut, you can see that I use a modifier and it makes my object really smoother and have more edges. But if I back to the edit mode, it still has the same number of edge and faces that I had. So see you on the next video. And this is the end of modeling our first glass. I want to ask you, after you finish modeling this glass with following my videos, please, just please, try to model this glass one more time without following my videos. I don't care if you don't want to subscribe or like, but please, for yourself, try to model this glass one more time so that your brain learn to model without following any videos. And also keep the glass because we're gonna use it in the next video.